Hey, welcome to This Week in Flips, my weekly show where I talk about the ups and downs and in-betweens of reselling on eBay. I do this part-time, and my hope is that this show provides you a look into what is possible if you're considering reselling on eBay as a side hustle. Today, we're going to talk through some of the interesting things I bought this week to resell and run through my weekly performance numbers like my gross and net sales for the week. And of course, I'll show you my top 10 sales ordered by net return like I do every week, so you can get a taste of the types of things I'm selling, for how much, and how much money I end up making on those sales. I'll also share with you some subtle signs that certain troublesome buyers can give away when they are attempting to scam or otherwise extort you for money. Being aware of these signs will save you money and headache, especially if you're a new seller. But first, let's see what interesting things I picked up to resell this week. First up is this Tommy Hilfiger sailing gear jacket from the 90s, super 90s looking, really awesome. I got this at the Treasure Shop. This is a thrift store that I have not been to for a super long time. It did pay up a little bit, 15 bucks I paid for it, but this thing's just a blast from the past. I don't think I had this jacket, but I had one very similar, and the comps are really good on this, and the sell-through rate is very good. I've got it listed for $70. It wasn't in perfect condition. There was a little bit of staining on it, and so I disclosed all of that. I still think it's going to be a pretty good sale at $70 plus shipping. And so Tommy Hilfiger, a lot of their stuff is no longer that valuable. They still make modern stuff, but they sell it all over the place. I think you can get Tommy Hilfiger at like Costco and places like that. So it's not that much of a desirable brand, but there is stuff from the 90s, some true vintage stuff that does do really well, and this is an example of one of those. I also picked up another baseball glove. This is a great time of the year to be picking up baseball gloves. Most places are just not going to charge that much money for them, especially garage sales and estate sales are not going to charge a ton of money. I find them on Facebook Marketplace pretty often, usually around $5. This one was at St. Vincent de Paul. I paid $7.75, so I paid up a little bit, but I've got it listed for $29.99 plus shipping, and it should sell within the next month or two. Mizuno is a good brand. Most baseball gloves have model numbers on it, so it makes it really easy to look up comps, and this one should have no problem selling over the next few months. I was at an estate sale just over the weekend, and I got these jeans here. These are just Levi's 569, just standard jeans, but all of the clothing was labeled as like $1 or $2 or $3 depending on what you wanted at this estate sale, and pants were $2, and so there was just a huge pile of pants, and I went through them and ended up finding a new pair of Levi's. These had all the tags on them and everything, and so I've got them listed on eBay for $39.99 free shipping, and they should sell. The sell-through rate's really good. Levi's just a good workhorse brand. It's definitely going to sell. The size is a perfectly fine size, and yeah, this should have no problem selling, but just kind of surprising to see this in the pile of $2 pants, a brand new pair of Levi's with the tag still on them. And so at a thrift store, I found these candle by the hours. I found two of these, and I ended up paying up a little bit. Looks like I paid $9 a piece for them, but each of them are listed for $32.99 plus shipping, and this is just an interesting thing. I think candles are often overlooked by resellers, and this was a really interesting looking candle. I don't know if people use it as a timer necessarily, but it has 80 hours worth of life, and so I'm not exactly sure why people buy and use these types of candles other than them looking cool, but if you know why, let me know in the comments below. But you don't have to know why in order to sell it. But yeah, look out for candles. I think candles are just often overlooked, and they're a great thing to buy to resell, especially if they're a good brand. This was not necessarily a good brand, but they'll still sell. eBay's been around a long time, and there are plenty of buyers out there who know how to game the system. They know that some sellers are very worried about getting negative feedback, and so they use that to their advantage. If you sell on eBay enough, you will definitely run into these types of buyers, and if you're not careful, they'll end up costing you a lot of money. But look, even though I'm warning you about this stuff, I don't want to falsely inflate the problem. I sell thousands and thousands of things on eBay every year, and problematic buyers are very much in the minority. But they do happen, so it's good to be aware of the common tricks and tactics they use to try to extort money from you. Most commonly, these problematic buyers will have some issue with whatever you just sent them. Something's broken, something is not as described, and instead of opening up a case or a return on eBay, they reach out to you directly. The buyers who are most skilled at extorting you know exactly how to word things to get what they want, which is some amount of money back. Typically, they'll use phrases like, "What can we do about this?" after describing the situation to you, hoping that you were scared of getting negative feedback and refund some or all of their money, no questions asked. Here's one that happened to me this past week. So yeah, I sold this Department 56 Dickens Village little piece, this little Christmas piece, and I had a ton of this stuff. This was not super valuable. I had it listed for $20, $9.99 plus $9.99 shipping. Somebody sent an offer for $7.99. I was like, sure, fine, whatever. Might as well get it out the door. I ended up only netting $3.89 on it, but a few days after it arrived, I did get a message from the seller. Here, let's pull it up. It says, Hi, I just received the item. The chimney is broken off. So first of all, of course, it is possible that we did not package this correctly and it could have got banged around and the chimney could have gotten broken off. But we've been selling for a long time. We know how to package this type of thing. And I just don't think that that's the case. It was not that delicate of an item. We packed it very well. And if the box was that damaged to break off the chimney, chances are there would be other things on it that would have gotten destroyed as well. And so I'm a little suspect that it had actually broken, but whatever. I'm happy to give the buyer the benefit of the doubt. So I responded, oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. It was intact when we shipped it. Did it break off in the box? Either way, you're welcome to return it. They said, yes, it broke off during shipment. So, okay, sure, fine. And then they said, is there any money you can refund me? And so this is just another, this person's being a little bit more blatant with their language, asking directly for a refund. Some people will skirt around it and say, like, what can we do about this? Is there anything you can do about it? They don't want to outright ask for money, but they're making it known that they're not pleased and that you should do something about it. And so in this situation, I just said, no, I'm sorry. I don't offer partial refunds. I have free returns. And so you're welcome to return it for a refund at no cost to you. All true things. And so again, if this really did break off in shipping, they don't have to pay any money to return it. They have to stick it in a box. They have to put the label on it and send it. It's really a non-issue. But this person hasn't done this. And this was February 12th. And so that was a week ago. And so no return has been open, no nothing. And so again, this person was just fishing for a partial refund. If I would have reacted immediately and been like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, let me refund your money, I would just be giving into this person fishing for a partial refund. If you find yourself in this situation as a seller, my recommendation is to not offer any sort of partial refund and always ask the buyer to return the item for a refund. If the buyer has a legitimate problem or the situation they describe is true, they will have no issue doing this. But if the buyer is making up the story in hopes of getting some or all their money back, chances are they're not going to follow through with it, or they'll continue to pester you in more obvious ways for a refund. Some less skilled scammers take this too far though and blatantly demand you take action and threaten to leave negative feedback if you don't comply. This is called feedback extortion and it's against eBay's policies. So if your buyer is demanding something and blatantly using the threat of negative feedback, you should stop engaging entirely. If they follow through and do leave negative feedback, eBay will remove it. There are some risks here though. If you call the buyer's bluff and there really is an issue, you'll be on the hook for paying the return shipping costs and refunding the buyer, which will no doubt cost more than if you were to give them a partial refund in the first place. If I think there's a chance the buyer is telling the truth for whatever reason, I sometimes go this route, but it is rare. So stand up for yourself as a seller and don't let buyers walk all over you. Be polite but firm. Getting negative feedback, even if you can have it removed, is not the end of the world. It used to matter more, but these days, as long as you describe your items accurately, pack things well, and ship on time and are a generally good human being, one or two negatives is not going to kill your business. And if you sell enough, negative feedback's inevitable, so don't sweat it. Last year I had 4 and it made no noticeable impact on my business. Okay, let's run through my numbers for the week and dig into my top 10 sales. It looks like my ROI on average for the week was 522%, which is about where I sit, and a 45% net profit margin, which is a little lower than normal. Typically I'm between 50 and 60% net profit margin, so that probably means I was selling items that cost me more money. My gross income for the week was $1,130 and my net income was $582, so it continues to be a pretty slow week here on eBay. Looks like I listed 49 new things over the last 7 days and I had 32 sales. So if you watched last week, I said this, but I'll say it again. This is a good sign right here that things are just generally slow on eBay. I know my data really well, and typically I tend to sell about as many items that I list. And so I would have expected to sell anywhere from 45 to 55 items. So this doesn't work for everyone. And so it really depends on what you sell and what the sell-through rate is. But this is just, I know my numbers really well, and I typically do 1-to-1 new listings to sales for any given time period. And so sales are down. It's just a slow time to be on eBay, but that's okay. It'll ramp up. February is generally a slow time. March is definitely going to get better. It's also when garage sales come back, so I'm excited about that. My average time to sell on this stuff was 2 months, and I spent a total of $231 on new inventory over the past week. All right, coming in at number 10 is this Kato Solar Crank shortwave weather radios. And so weather radios are something you come across pretty often, at least here in the Midwest. We get some pretty crazy weather. This one I got at a garage sale, looks like in September of last year. I only paid $1 for it. It took 5 months to sell, but it did sell for $26.99 free shipping, and I ended up getting a net return of $17.39 for the 10th best flip of the week. I've never seen this particular weather radio. Usually it's like the Midland brand weather radios that I see all the time. I don't always pick those up because they're not very valuable, but this one did have a little bit more value on it, and it came in for the 10th best flip of the week. Coming in at number 9 is this Mizzou Jersey, and so I live in St. Louis, and so University of Columbia, I went to college there. It's about an hour and a half away, so it's very common that I see Mizzou type things like this. This was at a thrift store. I did pay up a little bit at a Savers, $12, but I sold it for $40.98. That's $35.99 plus $4.99 in shipping. My net return on it was $17.89, and my ROI is 149%, which is lower. I said earlier my average ROI for this week was around 500%, and so 149% is a lower ROI. It's just because I paid more money for this, and thrift stores are generally more expensive. When I did see this at a thrift store, though, and this is pretty common, you probably run into this situation if you go thrifting quite a bit, but it was not in the clothing section. Someone had picked this up and carried it around for a while and discarded it near the books, or I can't remember exactly where, and I saw it laying there. Probably another resale. I don't know why they would have discarded it, but I saw it there, looked at it, was like, yeah, I'll pick this up, and yeah, it sold in 10 days for the 9th best flip of the week. Coming in at number 8 is this Maker Heart Loop Mixer. It's a portable audio mixer. I bought it at a St. Vincent de Paul for $5. It took 14 days to sell at $35.99, and the net return was $20.65. This thing looked like it was in new condition, but it did not have the power supply, so I could not charge as much as I wanted to for it. But, it did come in at number 8 and a 413% ROI, so not too bad. Coming in at number 7 is this Samsung BluRay DVD player. This was bought, I talked about this one last week because I had found 3 of these last week, independent of one another, and so it's very weird to find the same thing over and over again in a short amount of time. It's like the universe is looking down on you for some reason. But yeah, I found 3 of these for $5 a piece at 3 different places. This first one sold for $36.24. That's $29.25 plus $6.99 in shipping. My net return is $21.19 and an ROI of 424%. So these are just bread and butter items. A lot of people no longer use their DVDs or Blu-rays because they're streaming everything, and so they don't want their players, and so they sell them very cheaply. But eBay is a good market for people who are looking to buy them, and so it's a pretty good deal for somebody at $36, and it's a good deal for me because I made $21. Coming in at number 6 is this Ti84 Plus Silver Edition. This is the 3rd one of these I found in the last few weeks at thrift stores, and so this one was only $3.80. It's really weird. I found 2 other ones at the same time at a Savers. They were $4.99 each, and so I don't know why these thrift stores are not pricing them up. They used to price these up, pretty high, but whatever. Maybe they don't remember that these things have value, but actually they don't have as much value as they used to. I remember even a year ago, they used to sell for $50, $60, and they would sell in the same day. This one took two days, but it only sold for $37.77. I think I took a best offer on that, but my net return was $23.89 and a 629% ROI. Coming in at number 5 are these Justin Outdoor mock toe leather boots. Let's see, I don't even remember where I got these. Looks like I got them at an estate sale last March, so almost a year ago. Took almost 9 months to sell. My purchase price was $4. They sold for $40 plus $9.99 in shipping. My net return for the 5th best flip of the week is $27.77 or 76 cents, and an ROI of 694%. So Justin is a good brand to look out for, especially just their leather cowboy boots are generally going to be a good find. These were different. These were not standard Justin boots. They were these sort of mock toes, and they were leather, but they're not cowboy boots, and so they just weren't as good. But still, $27.76 is a net return on that one, so pretty happy about that. All right, coming in at number 4 is this water pick. I got this at a Salvation Army. I did pay up for it, $20. It was an open box situation. I looked in there just to make sure everything seemed to be inside. When I was at the store, it seemed to be in there because this place does not do returns of any kind. So I wanted to make sure it looked good. Got it home, opened it up. Everything was good. It only took 11 days to sell for $74.99. I ended up making $37.64 on the net return, and that's an ROI of 188%. So again, that's bringing that weekly ROI down under my averages because I'm paying up for some of this stuff. The biggest reason for that is because I'm going to thrift stores currently as my primary sourcing method. Once garage sales pick back up, my ROI tends to go much higher because I'm getting inventory for much cheaper. But what was that? That was the 4th best flip of the week, I think. So let's take a look at number 3. Yeah, number 3 are these Red Wing Pecos leather boots. I talked about this on the show last week when I picked these up 8 days ago for $40 at a Savers. They were $50, but I had a coupon, and so I had them listed for $149.99, and I ended up taking a best offer at $100 plus $9.99. And you may be thinking, wow, that's $50 off. Why would you take an offer so low? And I'll tell you exactly why, is because the offer was was coming from a buyer in Australia through the international shipping program. And so I love shipping things internationally with eBay. The international shipping program is really great. And I saw that as a very positive sign that I would feel okay taking less money for the offer on it, because two reasons really. The first reason is because when you sell something through the international shipping program, if the buyer doesn't like it or it gets lost or damaged or whatever, if there's any reason for a return, eBay covers the cost to return for you. And so boots and shoes and clothing are susceptible to high return rates because, hey, they may not fit or whatever. And so when I got an offer for $100 and I saw it was an international sale through the shipping program, I thought, well, these things definitely won't get returned. So that's a positive. And the second is that the shipping is going to be cheap as well, because you don't ship it to Australia. In this case, you ship it to eBay here in the United States, and then they repackage it and ship it to the buyer in Australia. And so I only had to pay $7.06 to ship it. So I knew it was going to be a cheap shipping option to sell it internationally. So for those two reasons, I was like, well, $100, yeah, I'll still take that deal. And so I ended up making $48.20 on the deal. And I know it's done. I know it's not going to get returned. And so that's why I took such a low offer on it. Coming in at number 2 is this Qi branded ceramic curling iron. And so Qi is an excellent brand to look out for. I didn't find this one. My wife found this one. She paid $7 for it at a Savers, and it sold same day, around 5 hours, for $79.98 for the second best flip of the week. Our net return on it was $53.79. That ROI is 768%. This thing was brand new in the box. Really, really good find. You don't find things like this at thrift stores all that often. Super quick sale, super high sale, second best flip of the week. Pretty awesome. Coming in at number 1 is this SodaStream AquaFizz water machine. And so SodaStream is a very common thing that you see at thrift stores, at garage sales, places like that. And so I almost passed on this one, honestly. And the reason I didn't is because it was only $7. It was at this thrift store that I haven't been to in a long time. I think it was like, I listed these 3 things. Last time I was there was 2 years ago prior to that. And so I don't go to the thrift store very often. I should probably start going back because this was a really good find for the best flip of the week. But this ended up being, apparently this is SodaStream's like top of the line unit. And so it's very desirable. It sold in 7 hours. The other good thing about this is I had 3 of these bottles. I think when you buy it new, you only get 2. And so having that third one allowed me to up that price quite a bit on it. Ended up selling it for $89.49. That's $74.50 plus $14.99 in shipping. The cost of ship was $15.11. It is a kind of a big unit. The net return on it was $54.82 for the best flip of the week. The ROI there was 783%. And so SodaStreams, I see them all the time, and I generally pass on them because they're not that valuable, but this one ended up being really valuable, and I'm glad I did pick it up. So let's take a look at those numbers again for the week. 522% ROI, 45% net profit margin. I ended up grossing $1,130, and my net return on that was $582. Things are a bit slow, but that's okay. We'll get there. If you enjoyed this video, I do them every week on Mondays, so hit that subscribe button and join me next week. If you can't wait that long, the videos to the left and right of my head are episodes from the last 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next Monday.